Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple items I'd like to discuss. Thank you. Some of you, I have discussed some of these issues with a number of the board members throughout the last several months, but I think there's an important element that's going on, and I think we've all heard this new contract that's been signed between the county of Muskegon between the city of Muskegon and Norton Shores and Fruitport. And everybody's touting this as, a great step forward, and I tend to believe it's going in the right direction, just like our contract that we signed as far as a regional agreement with the city. But we have, I think, at this point, there's a couple communities that seem to be gaining by this, but it's not. It's done at the expense of another community, and that kind of bothers. It's hard.
Say that again. It's done at the expense. At the expense
of another community, and I don't want to get into any details in it. And Wilstein knows what I'm talking about, and we tend to push a lot of this stuff aside. But all that being said, there's been a tremendous amount of effort in the last 4, 5, 6 years, probably longer, to take a look at regional water issues, and the county's been involved in it. The chamber's taken a report. They spent money. The Chronicle's gone out and done issues on it, and it's just never ending. Everybody is basically studying this thing to death as far as how we do this thing regionally. But one thing that keeps coming out in every one of these discussions when we talk about working together as a community on water is that there's these comments that come back either collectively or to individual commissioners, from time to time, and basically the point has been made that they want nothing to do with a regional system if it looks like the county wastewater system. That point's been made a number of times.
Who's they?
These are different communities. Northern communities have made that statement. City of Muskegon's made that statement. I think it's also come out of the southern customers also. And that's been very troubling with me because of my history, but basically that comment as a statement is aimed at this Board of Public Works. That's where it's aimed. It's not aimed at the county building. It's an inanimate object. It's aimed at this board because we are the Public Works Board. We are the ones that deal with all the public services throughout the community. The second thing is that I think that we're getting lost in a lot of translation in here, that the Board of Public Works has got a tremendous amount of powers, and its applications are a tremendous tool that go way beyond what any one of these municipalities or groups of municipalities can do by themselves. And we're getting pushed aside because they don't want it to look like the wastewater. And today we're facing not only just the regional issues, we're facing a number of other challenges. We still have a contract with all of our wastewater users today that's missing one signature. We have a regional water situation that's coming together right now, or we've talked about what part do we play in this thing, and everybody kind of looks the other way. We've got port issues. We've got regional marketing of the wastewater system. And there are just a couple more items that the Board of Public Works can play a very big role in these aspects. The assets and the powers of the Board of Public Works is too valuable a tool to be pushed aside. I'm asking right now, out loud, I guess in front of my peers, what is it that we can do to change this mindset that's developed over a number of years on why nobody wants to play with us anymore? And I think that's an important question we all have to take a look at. And like I stated early in the discussion here, this isn't about the county board. This is about this board, because it's this board that deals with all of the elements that we're talking about. I have had discussions with a number of you folks over the last 6 months, and it's about the membership of this board. Membership of this board has been quite an elite group for a long time. Since 1966, it's either been supervisors off the Board of Supervisors, or it's been county commissioners. And I believe the perception when anybody looks at what goes on in this board, whether we're making decisions about the wastewater rates next year or what we're going to do with sale of property at the wastewater, anything like that, that it's a county decision. because it gets made in this board and it gets sent up to the next board, and it's all county issues. But the membership is is expressly talked about in the Act 185 law, the law that establishes this board. And it's very specific. It says the membership shall be comprised of 5, 7, or 9 members. And those 5, 7, or 9 members, it says the first one on the board is the drain commissioner. The person that sits in my chair is there regardless. The rest of the 5, 7, or 9 members may be county commissioners. Doesn't say they have to be. They have been, but they may be. In the discussion I've been having with a number of folks throughout the community is asking the question, and it's a vision that I have, and I'm asking you to take a look and ask yourself the same question, is what would be the effect in our community if this board looked more like our community? In other words, what would be the effect in our community in the statement if we don't want it to look like the county stuff?
If I
Where
can
would we
interrupt
be?
you, Dave,
Sure.
this board is set up by the county board. The county board
Understood.
does make this board. This board does not determine what goes where and what does what. It's determined by the county board.
Understood that the county board makes the appointments to this board, Mark. And that's my question to everybody is all of the members here except me are part of the county board. So you folks will have to deal with this in January again. But my question is today is that I would really like to see us take some time and have a special meeting and get some information from our attorney and have you spend some time and talk to your staff members and more importantly, I think, talk to your constituency. Talk to the people that you represent and ask them the same question.
John?
I happen to share that feeling. I happen to think that we need to look closely and involve more of the communities that participate in water, participate in sewer. I think we're viewed as elitist, and I think we need to open ourselves up to participation by the other groups. And I can think specifically of the townships. The North Side system is a system that was implemented 5 or 6 years ago that seems to be working, that provides openness. And I would move that we have a special meeting of this board and make a specific invitation to those members of the county commission who are not participants on this board, and to the public in general to participate in our discussions about the possibility of reconstituting the, let me slow down, Karen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Reconstituting the makeup of the Department of Public Works Board. And that's the motion, and I do so without being critical of the function of this board or anybody that's participated in this board whatsoever.
Support.
Now, let me ask Ted a question. Does this board have the authority and the right to do this?
Well, at this point, it's just a special meeting. This board doesn't have the right to determine who's going to be appointed to this board. The appointing power is with the county board.
I mean, so what is the purpose of this meeting then?
Simply to make an open discussion as to what might be the makeup of this board in the future, and simply to have that discussion take place with the involvement of the county board as a whole, representing the audience, and anyone from the involved municipalities that would wish to listen or participate.
I have a question. This advocates that the power of spending should be given to people that are not elected to this county's position. Is that what you're advocating?
Who are you asking the question of, Mark?
I guess, is that what the motion is advocating?
I
No.
think it sounded like we would be able to discuss it and come together and talk about issues that maybe we'll find some common ground on, but it's just coming together in representation, because it does look like it's us, the county board.
Because we are the ones elected to do the job. I'm sorry. The motion has been made and seconded that we should have a discussion on the makeup of what the general public thinks. You restate it, I don't want to restate it for you.
Why don't you try to read it back if you read it back?
To have a special meeting and invite the commissioners not on the Public Works Board and the public in general to participate in discussion on Public Works Board makeup in the future.
Myself personally, I'm going to vote against this. I think that's a terrible motion. We have a system in place to do this. The system is there. It is, the decisions for spending public is for county money is made by the county board, and that's where it needs to stay, in my opinion.
But going against anything, I'm just saying it's just clearly a meeting to have a discussion about possibilities.
I would be in favor of having a meeting to discuss the possibilities of water consolidation, to do it, but that's not what this motion is made. This motion is not to made about consolidated water. This is not a motion about consolidating services. This is a motion of changing this board.
But I think if you did get more people involved in it, maybe getting that consolidation of the water system, if you brought everybody on, hey, you got a chance to speak up. It might help. It
If
just
you
might
want it for
help.
the water system, say it's for the water system.
It could be, no,
Don't
I'm
say
just
it's
saying,
to change the board.
but you named 3 things, Marvin, so I'm saying it could be one way of getting the whole community together and maybe accomplishing something. And it may just fall apart, who knows?
Alan?
I do know one thing. If you think we're not like, you ought to talk to my constituents about that road commission, and no one out there is elected. We need elected people. When you have, we put that line from Muskegon to Whitehall. Do you realize the Dalton board got wiped out? And basically, Mr. Bazell lost his job over it. I wouldn't have got elected. So we need elected officials we can get the hell out of office if we do things wrong. And I'm sorry about the cussing, but what I'm saying is, I don't like the idea of this board going away running this very much. I mean, there's going to have to be one heck of a discussion for me to be in line with it.
I mean, it's one thing to talk about consolidation. It's another thing to talk about dissolving a board. That we have no ability to do.
Let me
The
ask
act says
something.
you can do it.
Maybe I can help clarify this, because I think I'm assuming we're in the discussion part of the motion. Okay. There is no motion that talks about dissolving this board. There's no motion about talking about taking some authority and trying to do something outside the county board. The motion is to have a special meeting to do exactly what we're doing here right now today, and that's to talk about the makeup of it. The board is not going to be dissolved. The board is still appointed by the county board. This board will always be appointed by the county board because this act says that's how this county board gets appointed. And it says it may have county commissioners on it, which leads to the 180 degrees, is that it may also have people that are not on the county board on it. That is the county board's choice. The discussion that I want to have is open, transparent, and in a mechanism that we can include our communities, that we can take this board and make the powers of this board available to our community, which people are walking away from today for some reason that we need to fix.
I totally disagree with your preconceived notion that people are walking away from this. We are having more activity in this area than we ever had. We're having more confidence placed in the county's position. We are accomplishing more than any of the other areas. To say they're walking away is a misstatement, in my opinion.
I'm not going to discuss whether they're walking away or not. I just happen to think, based on a number of conversations with a number of people, and what I view as the relative success of the North Side system, which is essentially a partnership of the townships and the county, that we ought to have a discussion of how that operation or any other operation involving water, sewer, anything that involves public works can be made more open and more transparent with respect to all of the communities that participate in these various activities. And they don't all participate. Those that do, I think, should be heard as to how they feel. And I'm just advocating that we have a discussion, an open discussion as to how it works. Again, it doesn't reflect on anybody that sits here or anybody that participates in this. I just happen to think that recognizing responsibility isn't going to change. This is just a discussion.
I'd like
Did
to
you have a
add,
comment?
Yeah, I actually got a question. Is this board limited to 9 people?
5, 7, or 9,
5, 7, or 9?
as decided by the full board.
I guess last thing, are you gonna give us a date? We ain't doing this in 10 days, it'll be at 30 days off or something.
I was thinking 2 weeks. I don't.
Well, I think I need enough time to talk to all my boards. I got 5 of them. I don't think I would hate to see it. I've already just finished 2 or 3 for this month. We need to get into the 10th of next month before we do it. Or the 15th or
I
whatever.
mean, we can't send out a notice to those boards.
I'm gonna tell them that they better be there.
If they get a letter,
I think they need to be there.
But
There's only
this
3
would
of
be, this would be a publicly
I got 5
noticed, this would be a publicly noticed meeting.
Yeah.
Well,
There's only 3 people that need to be here that are not here today.
every one of the supervisors, every one of them townships and all.
Oh, okay, from that standpoint, yeah.
I think that they.
But I think one thing you said.
It's for the public.
One-
That was your motion, not the supervisors, okay?
The one thing that you
Continue,
mentioned,
right?
Alan, I'd like to help you realize is that if you're on the board on January 1st, you're selecting that individual. If they can be elected officials, they can be non-elected officials. I heard your comment was that they need to be elected officials, but do they need to be county elected officials?
If that road commission was electable, all of them would be gone.
Well, we're not talking about the road commission.
Well, what I'm saying
And
is
this
that's what
is
we're turning this into.
Why is this discussion made here and not at the county board chair level and with Bonnie before this? We do not have the day-to-day actions of this committee. You're asking to change a fundamental function of this county.
I'm not asking to change anything.
Okay,
I am asking that this board convene a special meeting, and I think that was my motion, to open discussion as to the makeup of this board and its responsibilities to the participating entities in water, sewer, and any other aspect that involves what would be considered ordinarily the Department of Public Works.
Okay, so even though this board does not have the jurisdiction to do that, you're suggesting we hold a public hearing?
Doesn't have the
Jurisdiction to change from what we're doing.
But it does have the ability to make a recommendation to the full board that they consider it.
right.
Sure. Okay.
I'm not asking to make that recommendation at this time, and I don't think Commissioner
Not
Snyder
either.
is either. All we want to do is talk about it.
All right, is there any additional comments or questions? If not, roll call, please.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Jagger?
No.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Berezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
No.
Mr. Kellens?
Yes.
Mr. Plummer?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll set up a date that is available through the county offices. Is there any other new business? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I think one of the things we need to do is supposed to set up a specific agenda so that we don't run all over the place and try to get it. Try to make a bill.
I'm not saying one.
Has a stake in it.
Has a stake in it, but in this entire.